Welcome to another edition of Source Selection Soundbites. An earlier soundbite addressed the basic past performance structure, so today let's examine some of the issues that must be considered when evaluating past performance. Past performance is a very flexible factor that has many ways of being evaluated. The methodologies used by COs are mostly up to their discretion, but there are some hard and fast rules. The rules vary depending on the FAR authority and acquisition strategy utilized and the agency's intent. The agency's intent for evaluations informs what the agency should express in the solicitation. In terms of FAR authority, FAR 15 negotiated procurements have specific rules for evaluation of past performance, but other types of negotiated procurements are only held to the general rules of fairness, equity, and law. In terms of acquisition strategy, the rules of what must be evaluated may differ depending on whether the procurement is issued as an unrestricted or set-aside solicitation. Now let's take a look at some of these nuances. FAR 15 has the most robust requirements for the past performance evaluation factor. For starters, FAR 15 states that past performance must be evaluated unless the CO has a justification for not doing so. In addition, unrestricted solicitations, or those involving consolidation and bundling with significant subcontracting opportunities, must evaluate the extent to which an offeror attained small business participation goals under contracts that required subcontracting plans. Other FAR 15 requirements include 1. The evaluation of currency, relevance, source, context, and general trends of the information. 2. Describe approach on how vendors with no past performance will be evaluated. 3. Allow references from federal, state, and local government, as well as commercial references. 4. Authorize offerers to provide information on problems encountered on the identified contracts and the offerer's corrective actions. 5. Consider information obtained from other sources. 6. Take into account past performance of JVs or its individual members. And 7. Various small business-related requirements. In addition, FAR says the agency should take into account the past performance of predecessor companies, key personnel, and subcontractors that will perform major or critical aspects of the requirement. The CO must not only pay attention to the shalls, but also the shoulds. Should means that industry has the right to expect the agency to implement the should, unless the solicitation says otherwise. Other competitive procedures such as FAR 8.4 and FAR 35, and the simplified procedures of FAR 13.5 don't have nearly as many requirements. For starters, the use of past performance as an evaluation factor is discretionary. Given the FAR's relative silence about past performance evaluation, most of the requirements in these environments have been established by case law. Requirements include 1. The evaluation of currency, relevance, source, and context. 2. Describe approach on how vendors with no past performance will be evaluated. 3. Consider information obtained from other sources. And 4. Take into account past performance of JVs or its individual members. In addition to the Small Business Administration's joint venture rules of evaluating past performance, there are other small business regulations the CO should be aware of. In accordance with 13 CFR subsection 125, the CO must also consider the past performance of a small business that was gained as a part of a joint venture. However, the small business cannot submit past performance for work that was performed exclusively by other partners in the joint venture. Lastly, a small business that has performed as a first-tier subcontractor on prior projects may request past performance from large business contractors where a subcontracting plan was required. The past performance reference must be provided to the small business concern within 15 calendar days of the request. The regulations require the contracting officer to consider these references when received. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discussed some of the nuances of past performance evaluations and requirements the CO should be aware of based on the acquisition authority, the strategy used, and the business structure of contractor teams. This concludes today's source selection soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.